What would you say are 4 key elements that a successful crowdfunding effort has to have? Yes, I picked that number completely arbitrarily.
I know, and I completely didn't even blank on looking at this thing. I saw what with crowdfunding, and I didn't see 4 things. So
Okay, so that's 4. Fine.
I'm just going to spitball here. The number one thing that people do is they don't understand that no one gives a crap about their work until they build an audience. Nobody cares about anything that you do. Nobody, even your best friends, don't care nearly 100 million% as you do. Sorry, remember, I've had no sleep, and I have no food. So the number one thing that they do is think that people care about their work as much as they do. Which, like, I have a lot of fans, and none of them care about my work as much as I do. So they go into crowdfunding assuming that everyone is going to know about their books, love their books, care about their books, and then give them money, which is the most important thing. Getting someone from $0 to $1 is 1,000 times harder than getting somebody from $1 to $100 or $20 or $30.
Say it again.
Getting somebody to start spending money with you is the hardest thing. People love free. I know, because they give a lot of free books away, and the percentage of free books that turn to paid books is very small. But I know that going in. There's this great thing about like the followers, which shows you how many followers and how many backers you have on Kickstarter that just started. And people are like, I have 100 followers. They're all about, I get that, I'm gonna be great. They don't understand that like 10 or 20% of those people are gonna back. So that's the first thing that they have, the mindset thing that they have to break through. The second is that when they don't get a lot of money, or when people don't care, this is the opposite thing. They don't understand that some people will care a lot. So they have to build the tribe of humans who are actually going to care. Not as much as you. Nobody cares as much as you. I don't care about my niece and nephew nearly as much as my sister and brother-in-law. I love them dearly.
They're adorable.
But they are adorable, but like, I don't care about them. Like, I don't care about them. You're a monster. I do not care about them as much as my sister does, who sees them all of the time. And your projects are similar in that they're your babies, and you want to talk about them all the time. Some people, I want to see all the pictures of my niece and nephew. I love them dearly. I buy them all of the things.
They're adorable.
They are amazing. One time they called me just to sing the Transformers song, and I nearly melted. So I am like a perfect audience for my sister to send pictures to. Just like there are perfect humans for you to send your books to. But you have to cultivate those. If I showed a random, someone I don't know in here, like a picture of my niece and nephew, they'd be like, that's nice, I don't care. I'm not the audience. The second thing, they have to build their audience for their work. Because there are. If my sister just showed that gentleman back there a picture of her baby, and she'd be like, yeah, I don't care. She'd be like, oh, no one cares about my baby. But that's not true. She just didn't find me to show me the picture. I really, really want to know who this baby is. I want to see all the pictures, all the time. I'm going a little overboard because I feel like it said I didn't care about my nephew and niece, which is not true at all.
We're going to be traumatized by the video. We'll move on here.
So that's the first thing is you have to get over that not no one cares as much as you. The second thing is that some people will care a lot, and you have to build those people. I have 25,000 people on my mailing list. 1,000 people backed my last campaign. Depending on which number you look at, that's either amazing or really tiny. So if you've got 100 people on your mailing list, well, 5 of them might back that. If you've got 100 people in your audience, then you're not going to get a lot of them to actually buy. A small fraction of them will buy. So that's the third thing that you have to know.
Bring it home.
I'm trying.
I said we stop at 3. I said that.
The third thing is that you have to make it worth their time, investment, and money in you. Like every person who sits here that I know personally, I have spent time investing in our relationship, and I have found out things they like, And I don't just say, here, Scott, here's a cool book. I say, here, Scott, here's a cool book. You said you like this thing, and I think you'll like it because of this reason. My whole brand is about like monsters and mythology and like fantasy, dark fantasy. And so like, if I know somebody is going to enjoy that, if I say, hey, do you like monsters? And they say yes, I say, now look at all these things I made for you. Because I know like that I have invested, and so they can invest in me. And I have told them why they can invest. So a lot of people have these really bland Kickstarter pages or crowdfunding pages or websites because they want to attract everybody. What did we learn? Nobody cares. Some people will care deeply. Those people will buy your stuff. So you need people to care, that care deeply, to know that you're making something for them.
That's
That's story, but okay,
no, it's 4. You did 4.
Did I?
I said that last week. We're gonna open up for questions now. We got about. We're gonna open up for questions. I know this gentleman will have the first one. Let's go ahead.
4 of my companies went bankrupt before I was 30. So whole companies, like not projects.
It's not a competition.
It's important to note that 95% of companies will fail in the first 10 years. For the average person, the average company makes $40,000 in revenue a year, not profit a year, revenue a year. So most companies operate at a loss for 3 to 5 years before they ever become profitable. So you have to go into that knowing all of those things. And I like that college example of like thinking of it as college because, man, I was not ready to run a company when I was 22. I was not ready at 26. I wasn't ready at 29. I was barely ready at 32. But I learned a lot each time that company failed and each time a project failed.
Well, what was during that time when you were doing those startups and they were failing and whatnot, where was your passion for your art?
They were all.
Or had it not developed yet?
They were all. Well, I had a photography studio, and I got in a car accident, and that went belly up. I had a production company called Independent Insert Name Year Productions. That was my first one. We were going to be an IP factory, but nobody wants IP. They want like projects that they can then develop into other mediums. So that failed. I had a movie that I spent $30,000 on, and I don't think it still made $100. That was my third company. The fourth company, I got in business with 2 partners at a Verizon dealership, and 3 months later, they bailed. So I was always doing the art thing. Like it was always like creative businesses that I was starting. That's why I made the book, How to Build Your Creative Career, so that you don't make the $100,000 mistakes. But
Did you feel yourself artistically wandering or heading and learning from those experiences and getting closer to where you are now? Like, did you feel any momentum toward any direction, or was it always kind of like a quagmire in your head of what?
So the hardest part was getting back up. Every time I felt like I was never going to start another company again. I thought I was never going to make another project again. I thought I would never trust another human again. But each time I sort of moved closer to like what people liked and wanted. The biggest one was after my third company failed. You sort of like learn that it's you. Like the first one, like you can base like, well, like my partner was crappy, or like 2, it was like luck. But like once it's 3 in a row in like 5 years, you start being like, it's a me, that's a me. And like, that's when I learned to do marketing and sales and do a little thing and go back and like be like, if I want to really do this, which I did, then I have to like learn how to actually like run a business, not just run creativity. And they are 2 very different things. So I was always doing creative pursuits, but at the beginning I was doing.
That's why I'm asking, because that stuff could have broke you, because the art, you have business and you have the art, but the business doesn't mean anything if you don't have the motivation to do the business.
So here's my best advice for these things, is the first company I failed took 18 months to get up off the carpet. I never thought I was going to do anything, and I was literally numb, like creatively. I like, barely had a relationship at that first one because it was so hard. The second one took 6 months to get off the carpet. That third one took a month. That fourth one took 3 days. No, not even 3 days. And literally they like bailed and I started the company like 2 days later. So it did take longer to get, it did take a long time to get it back, to get the momentum back. But the biggest factor I've found for successful people is that they can get punched, fall down, and get back up. And it is how fast you can do that and get back up that determines how successful you will be and how quickly. So I didn't have that creative motivation when I started. When I like first failed, when it first happened, I just cried and I drank and I was bitter and angry.
This took a turn.
But then, over time, the creative juices came back again, and I was like, I can't not do this. And I think that any creative person will probably tell you that, like, if you can do something else, you should. Because, like, I could make way more money selling, like, condos in Gizmo Beach than, like, doing work. But, like, you can't not do it, and it just keeps bubbling back up, and that fire, even if you're numb now, like it does come back. And it might take 5 years, it might take a year, it might take 10 years, but eventually, if you're meant to do it, it's just gonna keep coming up, and eventually you're gonna be like, well, I tried to just have a real job. I can't.